Hey, this is Rich over at TVP Live with another quick tips tutorial brought to you by Adobe Photoshop Elements Tutorials Group, and let's jump right in. Today's poster wanted to know how to recreate the dropper, the drop here, the little blue drop, which we've duplicated here. And I figured, you know what, maybe we can try to do some of this page and duplicate a little bit of it. So what we did here is we grabbed as many of elements and assets that we could, including the background, including some parchment paper. We got us some pages of the book. A girl, couldn't find the same girl, so we found something else kind of cute. So we got us a heart. And finally, we got the dandelion. So let's jump right in and not waste any time. First of all, let's move this over. I made the canvas really big so we can kind of do a side by side. And we'll start with the background. We got our zigzag paper. We're going to drag it with the left mouse button into our image, and let's approximate the same size as the original. And I'm going to put it up next to that and just bring it down to something close. It doesn't have to be exactly the same, as long as it's close. That's all we need. The next element or asset is going to be the newspaper, and drag those words in to here. And okay, that actually was almost the right size. I was just guessing. Let's go ahead and put that somewhere. Let's go to the paper. Grab that, drag that into our master, and let's grab the corners. And let's go ahead and I'm going to go right there, and then I'm going to squeeze it in so it goes all the way to the edge over here on the right. And that looks pretty good. Hit OK. Let's go ahead and bring that in on top of the paper. So we're getting pretty close. Next, we got the girl. Let's go ahead and grab this whole image, and then we're going to have to manipulate it so it looks kind of like this one. When it comes to, see, it comes in really big, much bigger than our image. So all you have to do is grab one of the corners and bring it down to size here. So what we can do, and because this is kind of surreal, I can just take a smudge brush and I'm just going to smudge her dress down below. It's going to kind of fade out below the dandelion, so it doesn't have to be perfect at all. Just as long as it comes down a little bit further. Now let's try to copy this cutout sort of. So I'm going to lessen this photo so I can actually drag it on top of the original here. So to be able to erase this, if I'd use the round basic brush, it's going to look like a circle, and it's going to be too even. So we want something a little more jagged. So we chose the eraser. We go to brushes. Let's change the brush from basic brushes to calligraphy and choose something a little flatter. That's more representative of, here, see this 160? It's kind of flat. And let's make the width, I don't know, like 40 point. You'll see it's kind of wider here. So I'm going to try to sort of copy, and you see I'm going along the edge, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And it comes down across here, and we like that. So now we're going to take the opacity, bring it back up to 100%, and there we have the cutout that's very similar to the original. Now we can take our lasso tool, but I'm going to do polygon and basically cut out everything else beyond what we need from that photograph. Boom, 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 and hit delete, and now we got rid of everything else. And now, as you can see, as I toggle, you'll see the original cutout is pretty close to the original. So we like that. All right. Bring our new image of the girl over to here. And we like that. Now let's do the droplets. And so I pre-did this one and got that blue thing going on right here. So I'm going to bring this one. Actually, I got to bring the layer to the top because it's wanting to hide in the back. And we'll bring that over here like this, towards the edge. We're not going to copy all of the drops because we're just kind of playing around here. Next is going to be the heart. So let's go over to our heart, which we grabbed as a PNG we found online. I'm going to bring that over here. And you can see it comes in really big. You just grab the corners, no big deal that the size is big because we can always resize it. Zoom back in, and let's make the size. And finally, but not least, let's grab our dandelion. And I'm going to drag that in. And let's get it sort of similar sized. We like that. We're going to place that sort of in a similar position. Kind of off the screen here. And then finally we got this kind of like cutout going on here in the parchment. So what we're going to do is we want to trace that. So I'm going to hold Alt to make a copy of this drop, and you can get something similar to the size of the same size as the other one, which is right around there. Let's place that, which is, it was kind of like right around here. So all we have to do is choose our droplet, grab the magic tool, fill it in, and then choose the layer beneath it. And then you right click and do layer via cut. And now I'm going to get rid of, anyways, we made a cut over here. And so I can show you, see how this one is a cutout of this? If I move this, you're going to have the same cutout. It's the same, almost exactly the same size cutout. When you see underneath the letters underneath, you just bring it up a little bit. We'll start doing our drop shadow now because we need to see what's going on with all these. So I'm going to right click on this layer, go to edit layer style. I'm going to do a drop shadow. All these drop shadows are typically from the upper right to the bottom left. So let's do something like 35 point or so. And I'm going to first, and you can see the drop shadow starting to come in. As a matter of fact, that looks pretty darn good. Okay, good. Hit OK. Now, the page itself, the parchment, has a drop shadow also. So I'm going to click on that, right click, go to Edit Layer Style, hit Drop Shadow, and do the same thing. You can see that it's starting to come out very similar to the copy. We like that. Hit OK. Then the paper, the page with the words, has its own drop shadow. So click on the page, right click, Edit Layer Style, same thing, drop shadow. And we want to make the distance a little bit more because it's on top of the zigzag. And then make it a little more accentuated like this. And we have this droplet that's right here. So we have one down here, right around here. So we're going to make that one a little bit smaller. And hit OK. There's one more. I can Alt and copy. Bring one over here. Make this one small. Now you see the palm leaf has its own huge drop shadow. So let's right click on that. Edit layer. This will be kind of fun to watch and see what it does. And this one, the distance, we just pull the distance away. See what's happening? Let's bring the opacity up a little higher so it's really, really prominent. That looks pretty good. What's missing is the girl. Here we go. We got the girl going on. She's not as stark as the rest, but because our background is different, it's going to look stark. We'll do a little more work on that, but I think a really good fix on the girl to soften her up is simply to make her a little bit opaque. See, as I make her opaque, you start to see some of the parchment. So you just put a little tiny bit of opaqueness. That means it's 10% opaque. Finally, let's grab our dandelion and also make it opaque. So you see this whole top end. Boom. Let's try it again. This whole top end. Boom. And that erases most of it. Now I can turn on the one in the bottom and change its opacity to almost nothing so you still see the layer of what's showing through. Just a little bit. And that's how you get those different colored droplets. This one is a see-through, a little bit more. Right click, make a duplicate layer, turn off the duplicate, turn on the top end, grab the eraser. We're basically doing the same thing as what we did here. Erase the top end, turn the bottom one back on, but make it very, very light so you can see everything through it. So it's lighter on the top and heavier on the bottom, but still see-through throughout the whole piece. Same thing with this one. We want this layer here. Grab the eraser and we want to duplicate the circle of the dandelion. Turn on the bottom layer again, but lessen its opacity so that we can see right through it. Right around there. And that's looking pretty good. Not too bad, not too shabby. We pretty much got everything we need here. You could do more circles or blobs or whatever and slightly color them and play around with it and have fun with it. Hey, this is Rich with today's slightly longer than short tutorial. Calling it quits, saying over and out.